This video is sponsored by Surfshark, the best VPN on the market. Surfshark is an app or browser extension that allows you to change your location to access websites in other countries and keep you safe from hackers. For example, we here in Ireland can access other countries' Netflix libraries, streaming services such as DAZN in Spain for those all-important Premier League games. Surfshark keeps you safe and private by protecting everything you do online. When your device connects to the internet, all that information is, in a way, blurred out. Surfshark is particularly useful for keeping you safe if you use public Wi-Fi, such as a college or a cafe. Surfshark allows you to use one subscription on unlimited devices, meaning that you can even share an account with friends and family. On top of this, Surfshark offers a 30-day money-back guarantee, so if you don't like it, you can even get your money back. Our sign-up offer gives you Surfshark VPN for just over €2 per month and up to 4 months free. Why not scan the QR code on screen or use the link in the description to take advantage of this offer. What is up, my friends? How are we? And you are very welcome along to a brand new week here on Anfield Agenda. I hope that you're all in good spirits tonight. So, how are we all? Are we frustrated? Because I am. I can't lie. The numbers are there. We don't need to worry about that. It's going to be a British transfer record. But, again, I'm going to come on front up and say to you, I do not know when we're going to get that nod. Because it looks like Leverkusen are playing silly beggars about this. And what I mean by that is the goalposts keep being moved. Every time Liverpool are told something, it goes a little bit more expensive and a little bit more expensive. But I do think we're going to see the breakthrough. And again, I can only apologise for the delay of this. Even looking back today, we were going back through some of our own posts, some other people's posts, and Romano posted, I'm not joking, 17 days ago, this won't be dragged out, deal soon. Every bit of information I received, even as frequent as today, said that this deal has been agreed. I don't know why we're not seeing him doing a medical yet. I don't know, is the honest answer. But as always, I'm not going to hide away. I am here to talk through whatever questions you have. It will be a British transfer record. It will be 118, maybe 119 million pound. So it will eclipse the money paid for Caicedo. But anybody who I've spoken to today has said the blame certainly lying on the German side of this deal. But again, I can only empathise with everybody on the frustration because I feel like punching a wall right now. That's how frustrated I am with it. But as always, I'm looking forward to coming on and having a chat with everybody. Excuse me. Finally paid the last payment of the mortgage. That's feckin' awesome, Carl. I'm delighted for. I haven't even gotten to the point of paying my first payment on one yet because we're still trying to sort it out. But man, that's amazing for you. Thank you. Cal said, think we're trying to be miserly. It's not on us this time. It isn't. You know us. We have been, not great at spending money. But I promise you, man, it doesn't matter who you talk to on this one. It's not coming from the Liverpool side, the delay on this. It is 100% lying very firmly on the German side because Liverpool want this done quickly. And Liverpool are, again, keep seeing the goalpost being moved. So let me give you a little outtake of a post from earlier on that caught my attention, so bear with me. Shouldn't this be in my stream notes? Come on, Craig, where are you? Right, I'll put it in here. Okay, bear with me. I want to read you out something which should give you an indication of exactly how close we are with this one and why we're all absolutely astonished that we haven't got the nod yet. So, who was it? Was not Ben. Lewis Steele was speaking about this and saying, again, the numbers there, the agreement with regards to the amount of money will be there. It's just Leverkusen playing silly beggars over how easily achievable some of these add-ons are. So it's not even about the two clubs arguing over a number. It's about these add-ons, and honestly, it's dragging out for an eternity. Now, what we need to know is the first transfer window closes at 7 p.m. tomorrow. Does that mean it's too late for Liverpool to get a deal in for that window to be closed? Maybe. But for really, it doesn't matter to Liverpool when it's done, as long as it's done. And we can still get the guy to sign the contract, do his medical. But everybody within the industry is astonished that this hasn't happened yet. Even look, pick a journalist. Ornstein, Plettenberg, Romano, Joyce, everybody feels like we've been on the verge of this for a long time. 17 days ago, as I mentioned, Romano said, this won't be a long saga. This will be soon. Everybody is shocked at where we're at with it and how long it's taken for Leverkusen to finally sign off on this. And I would imagine Florian Wirtz isn't best happy with how long it's taken either. Eddie said, I can see Liverpool getting fed. I can't. Do you know what though, Eddie? I will say to you, they've more patience than me, because if I was dealing with this from the Liverpool side, I can't say I would have been as patient as we have been with it, because it's getting into piss take territory at this point over what? How a couple of £1 million of an add-on is going to be triggered. That's how simple this is. Like, there's no arguing over the numbers. The numbers are set in stone. It will be a British record transfer fee. It's just when they finally sign off on those last couple of things. And yeah, but there is other stories and plenty of other stories to go through today, because it looks like Darwin Nunez has turned down the opportunity to go to Al Hilal, according to reports today. It also looks as if Al Nassr have been given the go-ahead to lodge an €85 million bid for Luis Diaz. Now, what I'm not sure about here is if Diaz has any interest in going to Al Nassr, because we spoke to you guys yesterday and the reports were that he has no interest in going to Saudi Arabia at this point in his career. So again, I'm not sure what's going on there. But Moby Haik as well, hearing from some Saudi Reds saying that Al Nassr have a green light to pursue Diaz, but there's been no official offer to Liverpool Football Club yet. So that's where we're at with that. Stefan Bajcetic, as we mentioned, has undergone surgery for a hamstring injury. So he faces a bit of a race against time to be ready for pre-season. And I hope he is, because my God, I've got nothing but good things to say about Stefan Bajcetic. So I hope he can, because I feel this is a pivotal summer for him. Just got home from my holiday in Southport today, and the Wirtz deal still isn't done yet. This nonsense, or the suspense is maddening, sorry, but I'm feeling confident. Absolutely nothing to say the deal's not going to happen. Like, again, I'm telling you, there's nothing to be concerned about there. But I'm not going to say to you have no right to be frustrated with it. You've every right to be frustrated with it at this point, because we're all feeling frustrated with it. I, who know there's no point or no chance of this deal falling apart, I'm sitting here pissed off and frustrated about it, because I've never seen these small details take this long before. You know, when we're talking about big transfers, record transfers, yes, the likes of Declan Rice to Arsenal before, they can take a very, very, very long time. But the outline number here isn't the problem, and that's what is so astounding to us. Leverkusen are seemingly haggling over the minor details. Piss take at this point. What do I think about Thomas Frank going to Spurs? It's a strange one, because I rate Thomas Frank as a manager. I think everybody probably thinks he's a good coach, but does he have the necessary experience to take Spurs into European competition like the Champions League and get to playing 2 games a week? I don't know if he does, so I do think it's somewhat of a gamble from Spurs. But he is a good coach. I do rate Thomas Frank. And I would love if they were able to get Mbomo out and not send him to United. That would be interesting. Ian, thank you. Appreciate that, Ian. Look, mate, I can only sit here and apologise. That's all I can say to everybody right now is, I'm sorry that this has taken so long. I'm sorry that we haven't got the here we go quicker. But again, I'm also sorry that I opened my mouth, because I promise you, I passed on what I was told. And I was told even as frequently as today at about 2 p.m. by somebody in Germany that this was agreed. So all I can say is, I'm sorry to sit here and have to come on and wait and wait and wait. All I can do is reassure you there's no chance of it falling apart. And certainly, I hate what we're all sitting here frustrated about it. I hate it. I hate every bit of it. Coming on to streams is usually a time of the day where I'm excited and looking forward to come on. But the last few days, you know, I felt like a bit of a punch bag on some occasions. But I also understand it, and I'm not trying to hide away from it. I totally can empathise with my fellow Liverpool fans feeling frustrated by it. We all just want those glorious words and to start that release of celebration of Liverpool finally stepping up and breaking once again a British transfer record for a player. But we can't control, or I can't control, how finicky or picky Leverkusen are being. Patrick said, we're waiting for Wirtz like GTA 6. Um, yeah, I actually get that reference. I actually get that reference, my man, and I'm not a gamer, but I do get your reference. Um, but like GTA 6, it will be worth the wait. Any update on Ibrahim Kanade contract? Nothing that I know of, Carl. No, I will tell you if I know something. I'll tell you if I don't, but I don't know anything on the Kanade situation. Now, on Joe Gomez, it looks like there's no shortage of options for Joe. This piece here earlier on said that Everton, Newcastle, West Ham, Villa, Leeds, Bournemouth, Sunderland, and Burnley are all interested in Joe Gomez. I don't know if and when he departs, but it's seemingly no shortage of offers there. And the price tag that apparently Liverpool have put is 25 million. But I'll be really honest with you. I wouldn't be even entertaining an offer at this point for any of our defenders until we know what's going on with Ibrahim Kanade and whom the centre-back option that Liverpool are going to bring in is. Now, something dropped just before we went live about a defensive midfielder, or a midfielder, I should say, that I'm sure you guys will want to know a bit about. So I haven't got the full information on this yet, but there seems to be reports coming out of Spain that Angelo Stiller is no longer on the wish list for Real Madrid, and that Liverpool's name is now the one mostly being linked with a move for him from Stuttgart. Now, I wonder, is that because of the situation with Zubamendi? Because there's been lots of chatter that Zubamendi could end up Real Madrid bound. Now, I honestly haven't got a clue. But as I mentioned, those reports coming out of Spain this evening suggest that Liverpool are now frontrunner in the race for Angelo Stiller. Dan, I'm really sorry to hear about your child, my man, and your mental health. I hope both recover soon, my friend. What's this? The nuisance is that Cherky's gone to City, our only real alternative. Again, I can tell you you've nothing to be concerned about with this deal falling apart. So we will see Florian Wirtz in a Liverpool shirt. But I understand again. That deal for Cherky was I think it was about 38 all in, wasn't it? Something like that. So yeah, that's been agreed and done. Aït-Nouri's been unveiled as a City player. And on the meantime, we're still sitting here trying to figure out when we're going to get the nod for Wirtz. And again, unlike Romano, I can't hide away. I come on here every day and answer the questions that you guys rightfully put to me. So I'm not hiding anywhere. And again, I can only apologise for how long this has taken, because it's caught all of us off guard. And yeah, again, I can only apologise for how long it's taken. But again, I can reaffirm there is nothing to be concerned about this deal falling apart. But that doesn't stop you from being frustrated in how long it's taken. And you're within your rights to say that. Christer, Hansen said, Wirtz should just make it clear to Leverkusen to accept this is getting silly. It is getting silly. You're right, mate. And I will sit here and agree 100% that they are taking the piss with this, because it was, well, we want this number. And then it was, well, we'll take less money if he goes outside of the Bundesliga, until he decided he wanted to go to Liverpool. Then it was a case of, okay, well, here's the outline parameter. Okay, well, here's an offer. Then that comes back. And now we're talking about not even a number anymore. The number is going to be 140 million euro. But we're talking about when the add-ons kick in, how achievable they are. And not just silly add-ons, but I'm talking about the people that I'm hearing from are saying piss-taking stuff. I don't know. But again, nothing to be concerned about on the deal, but it doesn't stop the frustration. And my God, I'm frustrated by it. John, thank you, man, for gifting 10 memberships. Appreciate you. Gio said, it's not your fault it's taken long. No, it isn't. But it is my fault telling you guys that it was going to be soon. Because that's the information I was given. That the deal is absolutely in the right direction. And like Romano said 17 days ago, no delay expected on this one. So I do have to take some responsibility for that. And I will always take responsibility where necessary, because I led people to believe, like I was told, that this was imminent. And it is imminent. But imminent is now becoming, a saga. So I get it. I understand the frustration. Whether it's aimed at me or anybody else, I'm here to take it and accept it, because I'm in the chair telling you what I know. And everything that I've told you is everything that I've been told, but it still doesn't change the fact that you're rightly frustrated. Sharfordine, thank you, my friend. Appreciate you. Do you think there's anything in that private jet to Dusseldorf today? I don't know. There's been so many stories about aeroplanes that I've given up trying to figure out what's true and what isn't true. Honestly, I haven't got a clue. As long as people are respectful in the chat, absolutely. I am here to be critiqued if you need to, but just do it in a way that you're not going to get banned. And absolutely, like I said, I never hide away, my man. I pass on what I'm told. I told you probably 4 or 5 days ago that this would be deal agreed soon, because that is the information I was given. And even today at 2 o'clock, I was told that everything outlined had been agreed. So I don't know, my man. I don't know. But I know I hate letting people down or hate people feeling frustrated, because that is to an extent on me. So, I take my lumps when I deserve them. Instant gratification is polluting our society. Nobody wants to wait anymore. Don't apologize to these little babies who think it's a game of Fantasy Manager. No, I'm apologizing to my community for delays that nobody expected, and that I take responsibility for. Like I said, there's no chance this deal falls apart. He will be a Liverpool player, as will Milos Kerkez, as is Jeremy Frimpong. But again, I have to take my share of it as well, the frustrations of my fellow fans. It's not all champagne and Skittles on here. I'm here to be critiqued as well, and I've no problem with it as long as it's done, in an adult, grown-up way. Right, anyway, let's get into some actual news, because that's why everybody's here as well. Can see this Wirtz, wait, kill the final climax when it's finally done. Not your fault it's took this long, Craig. Just reporting what you've been told. Again, I appreciate your understanding there, but I'd be a liar if I told you I'm not frustrated by it as a fan. Like, put aside the channel stuff, put aside information. As a Liverpool fan, I'm not somebody who's blessed with patience at the best of times, and every credible journalist on the planet has said that this is final details for 17 days. Something stinks in this. And again, it's stinking from the German side. Cal, appreciate you, Craig. I reckon it's done in LFC just bidding up the journalists for who's going to get the exclusive. Here we go. Well, I've not seen anything from Romano for 2 days on this. And that again, astounds me, But that's where we're at with it. Let's get into a bit of a Milos Kerkez update, if that's okay, because The Guardian have said that Liverpool are close to striking a deal with Bournemouth to make the left-back our next summer recruit. They say the 21-year-old departed the Hungarian national team camp for private reasons, while Liverpool are looking to hash out a deal up to potentially £45 million. Now, like I've always said to you, I don't know the fee on the Milos Kerkez situation. I don't know the negotiations between the two clubs, but I do know he will be a Liverpool player, and you've nothing to be concerned about there. Let's hear a little bit from our new goalkeepers camp, young Armin Pekci. So, who was this? The goalkeeper. So he signed a 5-year contract at Liverpool. That's been confirmed. Also, speaking about a situation, somebody close to the player said, we chose Liverpool because they outlined a professional plan that we can identify with. Armin is a very intelligent, patient and ambitious player. We've long believed that Armin is one of the most valuable goalkeepers in the world in his age group, and Liverpool recognised this, which we're very happy about. The moment of change has come in his career to change and take the next step in his life. He had several options to choose from, and I think he made the right decision. Ekitike, let's talk about him for a minute. This piece here said there's no verbal agreement between Chelsea and Ekitike's camp, but Liverpool remain in the race. I have no idea who the striker target is, like I've said to you for the last 2 weeks. But the news around Ekitike isn't going away. But like Connor said to me earlier on, if we really wanted Ekitike, we'd probably have pushed on through with it at this point, especially knowing how hard Chelsea are pushing. So in that one, your guess is as good as mine on who the striker target is. So let's talk about Darwin for a second. Actually, no, let's stick with Ekitike. Sorry, let's stick with Ekitike, because this piece here from Bill said Liverpool remain a serious contender in the race for Hugo Ekitike. Both sides can imagine a move happening. Liverpool are firstly focused on the Wirtz deal. This piece here from Nico Shira, who I believe is an Italian journalist, said Darwin Nunez has turned down Al Hilal's approaches. He's ready to leave Liverpool. Liverpool are asking 55 million euro to sell him. Nunez' priority is staying in Europe. I have no idea who in Europe is going to be interested in Darwin Nunez. I'm not saying there won't be anybody. I'm just saying I don't know who that is. Atletico Madrid's name had been mentioned in the past. Who was the other one? Napoli's name was mentioned in the past, but, you know, your guess is as good as mine on where he ends up. So this one is really interesting though from Ben Jacobs. Al Nassr prepared to offer 85 million euro for Luis Diaz. So that's obviously Cristiano Ronaldo's team. They've told Sadio Mane he's getting sold. I don't know if you've seen that today, but the stuff around Mane is that, well, his time at Al Nassr, according to Al Nassr anyway, is coming to a close. So it looks like they're lining up Diaz as his replacement. Now, like we've said, I don't know if Diaz has any interest in going to Saudi. Reports yesterday said he doesn't. So we'll have to wait on that one. Peter said, lifetime fan from New Zealand. It will happen back to back. I hope so, Peter, my man. And much love to you down in New Zealand, bro. David, did I miss your super chat? Sorry. Evening, Craig and community. Thank you, David. Appreciate you. Apologies I missed that one, my man. Right, where are we at? Scott said, late, sorry, but you've no need to apologise. You can only share the information you're given. You're all very kind, but, you know, I've no problem accepting any critiquing. You know, I do feel it's fair at this point, mate, to be honest, because, you know, you're all expecting this deal to be done by now, and I have to take that on the chin because, again, I can only pass on what I'm told, but I fully respect and appreciate your frustrations. Should Liverpool walk away if this drags on? No. I mean, I can understand why you're saying it. And, you know, angry, emotional Craig, you know, would probably have thrown his toys out with the pram at this point if I was involved. But you wouldn't put in this much effort, get all the way to the finish line, and then just walk away. My concern here is that maybe the Wirtz camp get a bit frustrated with Leverkusen at this point because they're going to get an astronomical sum of money, a British transfer record, and they're still haggling over the smallest of details. I'm just glad you gave us a heads up on news. Thank you, Carl. And also, much love to everyone that's joined our WhatsApp channel. You're all legends. Thank you. We've over 3,000 people in there in a matter of 5 or 6 days. So if you'd like to join, do have a look in the description of this stream and you will see a link there to our WhatsApp channel, which is, of course, open to everybody. It seems like Leverkusen greed to me, said the Liverpool prophet. Look, it's a weird one because they've every right to try and get as much money as they can. But at what point does it almost become distasteful, I guess, is the issue. You don't want to be seen as a soft touch to anybody in the transfer market. So always understand and appreciate a selling club wanting to maximise the value. But, you know, when you've got a player who only wants one club, when you've got a club that are being very fair in the offers that they're putting in, it does feel a little bit shitty on that side. Sidant, let me get to your comment in a second, my man. Just bear with me here. Rob Dan said, I don't believe anyone will buy Darwin. We're going to have to wait and see, Rob. I can totally understand where you're coming from on it, but surely he's worth a punt to somebody at about £45 million. It's got to be worth a punt to somebody at that money. I think Wirtz signs before it closes, said Alternative FM, internet radio. Could do. The window, the first part of the window shuts at 7 p.m. tomorrow. Now, remember, the media stuff Liverpool can do afterwards. So, if you can get the medical stuff through, perhaps. But, again, there's no real issue for Liverpool if this goes a day or two past, because they can still have everything signed up. They just can't register the paperwork until it reopens on the 16th. Sidant, why no Gyökeres? It's just, like I've said, I've been very consistent on this for 6 months. Liverpool don't think that he is worth the risk. Again, I'm not saying that he is or isn't. I'm just telling you that the club have always been very firm on this side that no, he hasn't been tested in a high enough league. Take into account as well that he's heading for 27 now. It looks like he could be Manchester United bound. I had a sneaky feeling he may come in after Robert Lewandowski at Barcelona, but United are making a play now. But like I said, Sedan, I've always told you don't even look at Gyökeres for Liverpool because there's no chance of it happening. Alex said, loving the WhatsApp content, Craig. Thank you, bro. It's difficult. I don't want to overburden you with too much information, as in I don't want you to be getting pings all the time. So we're still trying to find the balance between what we post in there. Because if I had my way, I'd be posting in 15 things a day in there because, I love interacting with people and I get excited about these things. But yeah, we're trying to respect your own privacy as well, and we don't want to be bombarding you. Remember, even if the window closes, work doesn't stop. He can still come and do the medical and announce it unofficially. Absolutely, Mav. 100% right, mate. And it's only a 6-day thing as well. And I was reading a couple of pieces today, and that feeling was brought up as well. Like that, there's no real hard deadline here for Liverpool because, of course, we're not going to the Club World Cup. So it's the teams that are playing in the Club World Cup that are really under the gun to get this done. Their deal's done before the 10th if they want players to play in it. But for us, it's no biggie if this drags on a little bit longer, other than the frustration we all feel. Stephen Iron said, do you think the medical will be this week? I thought it would be today or tomorrow. At 2 o'clock today, I messaged a friend in Germany, one of the sources we've had on it, and I said, where the hell are we at with this? And he said, it's all agreed, mate. I don't know anything else after that. But we do know it's going to be a British transfer record. Mark Harding, thank you for being a member with us, bro. Appreciate you. Long time listener from Saudi, Dub, member now. The Dub in the desert. Oh, yeah, sorry, I was trying to figure out, are you in Saudi Arabia? That's what I was trying to figure out, my man. Representing us Dubs out in Saudi. Much love, bro. Appreciate you, and thank you for your support of our community. And I hope life is treating you well over in Saudi. Haven't had the pleasure of visiting yet. I probably will go to Saudi for a boxing event at some point. But I hope life's treating you well over there, my man. And maybe I can touch base with you at some point about what it's like to get the Saudi visas and all that stuff if you're up for it, my man. Because definitely being a big boxing fan, I'd love to go over there for one of the shows. Greg Williams, lovely to see you, my friend. Said, another huge fan in New Zealand here. Love your content. I find you the most down-to-earth person, which I congratulate. Anfield Agenda is amazing. You're a gentleman, Greg. Thank you, bro. Appreciate you. We've so many great Reds from New Zealand and Australia that tune in to the channel, my man. It's it means a lot. And it always blows my mind how far, people are away, and that we have this connection to the football club and the channel, and it means a lot to me. So appreciate you, Greg. Thank you. Do you believe Liverpool should move for Gyökeres? So you want my personal view on it? I think there's value in it based off the fees we're seeing for other strikers. I do understand our club's thought process on it, especially if you look at we've just been and bought a player in from the Portuguese Primeira Division that hasn't worked out for us. But personally, if you could get him in for £50 million, I would think that is worth a roll of the dice. But my opinion doesn't matter. I do think if he comes into the Prem with United, he'll score goals. But I totally do understand the club side of this in not wanting to roll that dice again on a player that hasn't been tested at a high enough league yet. Whoop whoop! 3 months here. Appreciate you, Cop Wolf. One of my favourite account names, by the way. I think that's a class name, Cop Wolf. There's Harvey. Again. Reminds me of Airwolf. I don't know if anyone's old enough to remember that show. Bayern shouldn't forget we help facilitate Flecken. Yes, Cal, I know. It's a really good point that you've raised. Obviously, Liverpool made sure that the fee for Brentford for Quiveen was reasonable, making sure that Flecken could go in the opposite direction. So, yeah, you're right, mate. And it does feel like frustrations are, I don't want to say on the club side, but certainly in the English side of what I'm reading, the finger of blame is certainly getting pointed towards the German side of this. Nunez and Diaz out, Rafael in. He wants to go. Liverpool don't want to sign Rafael. Like I've said the other day, and like Fabrizio Romano has said as well, at least to this point, there's been no contact with Rafael's camp from Liverpool or any contact with AC Milan. So I just don't think he has the work rate to work in an Arne Slot team, in all honesty. I don't. I think he's a really talented footballer and does some amazing things, but again, I can understand the club's thought process on this one. Plettenberg has just said Liverpool remain in the race for Hugo Ekitike and have held concrete talks with the players' camp as Jota, Chiesa, Nunez are all candidates to leave. Now, I'm going to have to leave the striker situation to others, like I've said, because I don't have anything on strikers or centre-backs at the minute. But, you know, Ekitike's name isn't going away either. And Chelsea haven't been able to hammer out a deal there. So maybe the player is waiting to see if Liverpool can come in with a concrete offer. I really don't know. Do you think Leverkusen trying the same tactic as the Zubamendi fiasco, hope the player gets his head turned? No, I don't. The player's been very clear, very strong on this one. He wants to leave. He wants to join Liverpool Football Club. The reason it's been held up, as I mentioned, is Leverkusen just playing silly beggars over the smallest of details. I agree with that as well. Julian Evans said once this gets done, it'll move quickly as personal terms are done. I agree, mate. You know, once the medical sorted out, like booked in really quick, because as you've said, it'll be a 5-year deal. It'll be £330,000 a week, according to reports. So yeah, it will move quickly. Shane, how are we, bro? Matt's paper 2 was tough, but I was happy. Irish paper 1 was nice. You do pass Irish. I don't blame you, mate. It's a difficult language. I was never able to really grasp it. And paper 2, biology tomorrow. Wishing you the best of luck, Shane. And do let us know when the results come out as well, my man. Let us know how you get on. And yeah, wishing you the best with the remainder of the Leaving Cert. Sorry, we should discuss there the end of school exams here in Ireland that Shane was talking about. Without Wirtz, how do we finish next season? Don't know, because we don't know who else is coming in the window. But we won't have to worry about without Wirtz, because as much as I'm on here apologising for the delays and for people being sitting around on edge, I'm absolutely wholeheartedly sticking to there's nothing to be concerned about. But you know what? I am intrigued by the centre-back situation at the club at the minute. That I'm very much waiting to see what happens. What do I think of Lautaro Martinez? I think he's 28 for a start, and I think, look, he scores goals, but he doesn't strike me as a Liverpool player. I could see him at Barca, weirdly. I could think he would fit in there. I just don't think taking Lautaro Martinez to the Premier League would be a good deal for anybody personally, but dude scores goals, except in the Champions League final against PSG where they were whooped. Craig, let's be honest, is Wirtz really going to want to spend the season with 10 Lasso? Definitely. Look, Bayer are already out shopping for his replacements. Like, they're already out there in the market looking to spend the money they know they're getting. There was an account earlier on, I can't remember what it was called. Let me check. Where was it? Let me scroll back. Sorry, I'm just trying to find this account. The Immortal Cop said, finally, finish line, and said that the news will be out in a few hours. Again, that does tally with what I was told at 2 o'clock, but we're still here and nobody's gotten the here we go yet. I do love the way some people are almost missing in action here over this. The likes of Romano and all, 17 days ago saying small details, no saga, won't drag on. Now's got nothing to say for the last few days. Alex said, if Chelsea find Ekitike too expensive and are now looking at hijacking the Šeško deal, that tells you everything. Liverpool need to stay away from Ekitike. I don't know enough about him, Alex, to say whether he's worth the money or not, but I do feel like, oh my God, are Wales back to 3-3? That's incredible. Oh my days, well done Wales. Craig Bellamy doing bits there with the Welsh team. They were 3-0 down to Belgium in the first half, and now they've pulled it back to 3-3. Wow, that's incredible. That is incredible. Fair play to Wales. Cop thank you for gifting a membership as well. Luke Feckin Caulfield, welcome to Anfield Agenda FC, my friend. Appreciate you. Look, I need your help, ladies and gentlemen. We are a mere 48 subscribers away from hitting the next 1,000 target. So if you are watching in the background, you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Again, I can only apologise for the delay in this deal. I'm not ever going to hide away from you. So if you're frustrated, I appreciate it. But I can only reiterate, you've got nothing to be concerned about on the deal, except for how long it's taken. What else was there? There was something else I wanted to say to you. No, sorry, my brain's not in gear, so I can't think of what it was. But look, let's get back into the comments and see how we're all going. Goal stands, nice. That's incredible. Honestly, I know Wales had pulled one back at half-time, just before half-time, with a penalty to make it 3-1. But wow, 3-3 away from home against Belgium. That is an incredibly good scoreline for them. Join, guys, the best channel on YouTube, said Julian Evans. Appreciate you, my man. Appreciate you. It's yeah, it's been an incredible month for our channel. You know, we've had about 13,000 subscribers over the last month, and I love welcoming in new people to our community. So to any of you who are watching in the background who may be new to the channel, welcome in. I hope you enjoy it. Please do take time to get to know everybody in the community, because they're a great bunch. Be careful for Dave Sharples, though. Watch out for Dave. Yeah, Dave knows what I'm talking about, don't you, Dave? Dave's probably sitting there going, the fuck? We love Dave, really. We're only joking. Liverpool won. Victor Osimhen, said Carl. I don't believe that to be the case, mate, but Galatasaray certainly really making a play to get him in. He turned down Al Hilal, as we heard over the past day or two, even after Sky said that was agreed. And I don't believe Liverpool do want Victor Osimhen. But you know what? Link is an interesting one. The Voltmada guy. I don't know if there's that into it or not, but I find it an interesting link for a couple of reasons. One, it's an amount that wouldn't hamstring us from potentially revisiting an attacker in the future to allow Jadon Danns to develop. 42 million quid is seemingly the price that Stuttgart would value him at. And also that link that I mentioned that's just popped back up for us and the kid from Stuttgart in midfield, Stiller. That's an interesting one, because his name was one of the credible names that Liverpool were looking at as a potential add-on in midfield. I just wonder if Liverpool feel Bajcetic is going to have another season where he's playing catch-up, because if he had the hamstring operation and he's recuperating now, and they're saying that it's a race against time for him to be fit for pre-season, we know what Arne Slot said about Federico Chiesa and him not having a proper pre-season. So if he can't get Stefan to the level he wants to be at physically, I wonder then, are we going to unfortunately see a season where Stefan goes back out on loan again? But if Angelo Stiller is brought in, you know, I'm not going to be displeased with that either, because he's a very good player. But again, don't know how true that link is. Andrew, love the show, Craig. Big fan. You're not a fan. You're a mate. Like I tell everybody, nobody should be a fan of me. There's nothing to be a fan of. Your friends, and that's certainly how I think of you, my man. But welcome in, Andrew, and thank you. The Dub in the Desert said Alvarez first choice but unlikely. Second choice is Ekitike. He's Nicolas Anelka 2.0. He's going to be unreal. Him and Wirtz, and we're sorted for 8 years. Yeah, it's really weird actually seeing the back and forth from people on Ekitike, because he seems to have a strong feeling one way or the other. So people either think, like you've said, mate, he's Nicolas Anelka 2.0, or people think he's completely overhyped. So let's put it to a poll. I'm just going to ask simply, is he good enough for Liverpool? Because I think that's the easiest way to phrase this. Right, so is Ekitike good enough for Liverpool? And we'll revisit that in a while. Forget Stiller, we need Wharton. Well, I tell you what, Philip, I would prefer Wharton because of the homegrown rule. So for me, mate, I could understand looking at Wharton. But what I would say is, would Wharton necessarily want to come in knowing that Gravenberch's the number one? That I don't know, because obviously he moved from Blackburn, moved to Crystal Palace, has had a really good time there, had an injury last season. Excuse me, I've got the hiccups here. And but yeah, really do like him as a player. Would just feel that he'd be overvalued, because of course, you know, Premier League to Premier League, and also the fact that I say Palace are in Europe. Well, they're trying to make sure they're in Europe. It looks as if Nottingham Forest, by the way, have lodged a bit of a, I don't want to say an appeal, but the report today was that Nottingham Forest had lodged a complaint against Palace being in Europe. And I wonder why that might be. Is it because perhaps that would push them up into the fucking Europa League maybe instead of the Conference League? And I wonder if it's a bit of saltiness, obviously, from them feeling like with the great season that they've had, just ending up with Europa Conference League football feels like a bit of a downer when they were in those Champions League positions for so long. So people are saying it's good enough but too expensive. So on that one, I know I shouldn't say this, but I also know I should. I don't give a shit if somebody's price is whatever it is, if they're good enough. For me, if they're good enough part of it is my concern as a fan. The money side of it is obviously the club's concern. And if the club feel like it's affordable, that's their decision. But I'm intrigued to see if people honestly think he's good enough, because I've seen a split on it when we've been talking about it in the chat. Same with Anthony Gordon. There's a split there as well. Some people think, yes, he'd run through a brick wall for us. He'd be a really good addition. Others think it would be a waste of money. Mark said, if Diaz left, Eze would be a good replacement. Or, excuse me, be a great replacement. So, on him, what age is Eze, if you don't mind me asking? I want to say he's 26, but I don't know. Knowing Edwards the way I do, I would expect Liverpool to go younger. If he is 26, I would expect Liverpool to go younger than that personally. But he's a very good player. I'd seen something earlier on about Bayern Munich. He's 26, 27, Jamie said. Thank you, Jamie. Thank you, Mahmood, as well. Who did I see this earlier on? Oh my God. Maybe somebody can help me out with it. Who of Bayern Munich just made their number one wide player target? It isn't Rafa Leao. It isn't Cody Gakpo. It isn't Nico Williams. I read it just before I went live, and for the life of me now, I can't remember it. But Bayern have apparently singled out a player they're looking to move for on left wing, and it isn't Cody Gakpo. It isn't Nico Williams. It isn't Rafa Leao. But I can't remember who the hell it was. Barcola, legends. That's the one. I never would have remembered that, to be fair. You're absolute legends. That is it. Bradley Barcola. Yeah, that's the one. And honestly, I'm glad Liverpool aren't moving for him. I find him infuriating when I watch him. He misses way too many chances for me. Craig, love the content. What's happening with Diaz and how far is the deal with Wirtz? So, how far is the deal with Wirtz is honestly a question I can't answer at this point, because I was told again today it's agreed. I have no idea what the delay is in an announcement and what the delay is in the man having his medical, other than maybe Leverkusen playing silly beggars over the small details still. And what the situation with Diaz, I think it's going to come down to what he wants. Like, Liverpool aren't in a rush to sell him, and Liverpool have no mad desire to sell him, which again is common sense, because he's on a relatively low wage. He's 2 years left to go in his deal. And even if he ran down his contract and left for nothing, he would be, 31 at that point? So Liverpool seem to be relaxed on this one. If an offer comes in that he wants and the numbers work for Liverpool, and I think the numbers involved with the offer from El Nasser probably would work for Liverpool, but I don't know if Diaz has any interest in going to Saudi or not. Nor do I know if Barcelona will be able to pull the numbers out of their backside to get that deal for him to go there. So I think I'd be surprised at this point if he goes to Al Nassr or Saudi. So for me, it feels like Barcelona or he stays, but that's just a gut feeling. Stevie Boy said, what's happening with the centre-back situation? Any news on who Liverpool are interested in? Diamonde's name is certainly getting some traction over the past few days, but again, this could be just because of a spurious link in a Portuguese newspaper. 4-3 Belgium now. Thank you for the update. So yeah, it could just be because of a spurious link in the Portuguese newspaper. But what I found interesting about the Diamande link was that it was below his release clause. His release clause, I think, if I remember correctly, was about 70 or 75 million euro, and the asking price that was posted around was about 60 million euro. So, but truth is, I haven't got a Scooby Doo who the centre back choices are. I haven't got a clue. I know we need one, and I think we all agree on that, but I don't know who it's going to be. Ryan, thank you about the tattoos, man. You're very kind. I've had these about 12, 13 years. I still need to get half of a sleeve finished, but I've never got around to it. Craig, if Liverpool were to sign Osimhen or Gyökeres, who would you have and why? Of those two, probably Gyökeres over Osimhen for me. I've never been convinced on Osimhen, and I can't explain it because there's no reason for me not to be convinced by him because he's done numbers. But I would take Gyökeres in of those two if they were both on the table for me. I just think there's probably more professionalism, if that's the right word, for Gyökeres. Daryl said, "Stuff the haters, Craig. Your classmate, much love. Thank you." To be fair, I don't really see much of it, but I do understand the frustration. So, I'm not going to take cheap shots at anybody who feels frustrated about the length of time this deal's taken. I totally get it. Did he really? Did he really? Nah, come on. Is that true? Somebody let me know if that's true or not. Nah, come on. That Belgium goal was disallowed, by the way. Still 3-3. Did he really? If he said that, that's nuts. I do wonder if Arsenal are going to lose out on Zubimendi, though. Because I get the feeling Real Madrid are going to sign him. And I always said to you guys, my fear was that if Alonso ever ended up at Real Madrid, that he'd go there. Even if he had signed for us, my fear was that in a year or two, if Zubimendi heard Alonso wanted him at Madrid because he's his idol, I felt he would have went running. So, yeah, it'd be interesting to see if Arsenal lose out there, or if he will come and play for second place FC. He has tweeted it. Oh, wow. Oh, here it is. Hang on. Let me just read this out. Saudi Pro League clubs have approached Sheshko in recent hours with important proposals. His priority is to continue in Europe at this stage. Well, then, that's definitely not he's going to Saudi, is it? If his priority is to stay in Europe, the original one said Sesko to Saudi. That's not what it says. It says they've put in offers for him, but his plan would be to stay in Europe right now. Lilo, watching from County Kerry. Much love, my friend. Hope your life's well down in Kerry. Would you believe I've never been to County Kerry? It's one of the few counties in my country I've never been to. Whoa, the likes are flying up. Thank you all so much. I haven't even said it to you yet about hitting the like button, but if you do, please do. And also, don't forget the subscribe button. Now, Connor has asked me for a request. So Connor doesn't ask for anything, but he did say to me, we're at 49,500 or something like that on the Clips channel, really close to the 50k mark. And of course, we want to try and get it to 100,000 to get the silver play button. But if you haven't subscribed to our Clips channel, please do give it a quick search, Anfield Agenda Clips, and give it a sub, because Connor is working so hard to get that up towards 50k, and then we can start shooting for the 100k. So if you can help us out with that one, much appreciated. And also, again, thank you to the 3,000 plus people who've joined our WhatsApp community in the first week. Unbelievable. Appreciate all of your support. The Liverpool Prophet said, just imagine Alonso had become our coach the season and Madrid came calling for him. We'd be screwed right now in the market for another coach. I don't think he'd have went, to be fair. Because I think if Alonso looked at it logically, he would have known that Madrid job's always going to be there. Because Madrid don't bring in managers for 8, 9, 10 years. So even if he was at Liverpool a year and Madrid came in, I honestly think he would have stayed to see out his time here. But of course, it never happened and he's a Real Madrid coach now. LFC Fukin or Luke Fukin Caulfield said, I'm from Kerry as well. We're all joining today. Nice. The Kerry Massive in the house. 29-100 said, what's going on with the Wirtz announcement? Mate, I don't know. I was told at 2 o'clock today, again, all agreed. Others have posted to say expect the announcement today. I'm just sitting here now afraid to say anything anymore because I don't want to disappoint anyone. So you've nothing to be concerned about with the deal. Again, it is going to happen, but to say it isn't a piss take at this point would be me lying. It is absolutely a piss take. Chris said the WhatsApp channel is great. Thank you. Again, I don't want to overburden you guys with too many posts in there either, so we're trying to figure out what the right frequency is to post in there, but we have loads of cool stuff planned for the WhatsApp channel, including giveaways that we're going to be running on there as well. Anyone who's in the WhatsApp channel will get information first before we do live streams. They'll get access to the likes of our tickets or any future merchandise first. They will get polls and other things, and maybe some mini articles that we're working on as well. We're playing around with a few ideas for the WhatsApp channel because honestly we were late to the party on WhatsApp, and we only realized what we could potentially do on there over the past couple of weeks. And it is me anytime you see a post in there that's written or anything, it is from me. Or if you ever hear somebody saying that's me in the WhatsApp. That's my baby at this point, even though Connor set it up. Yeah, I love it. I love being able to just have that immediate way of contacting people. Is it 4-3 now? Have they got the fourth goal? 4-3 Belgium. It is now 4-3. Daniel Brown said, first off, I'll never understand people getting upset with you about anything transfer related. No, to be fair, Daniel, I understand it. You know, if people are having a pop at me for something that I haven't said or anything, you know, I'll defend myself. But again, I understand people coming on to say, Craig, what the hell is going on? You said deal agreed. And again, that's the information I have, and I still stand over the fact that the deal's going to happen. But I 100% feel people are within their rights to feel frustrated. No problem with me on that regard. All I can do again is apologize for whatever has taken this deal so long. Yeah, I don't come on and say these things lightly. It usually takes 2, 3, 4 bits of information before we run with it. So yeah, again, apologies on the delay on it, but you've nothing to be concerned about on the deal. Sheriff Torchwood said, looking forward to see Wirtz sign for Liverpool. So am I. And I wonder now, are they going to do something funny with the reveal video? You know, kind of playing into the weight. Right, let's check in on our poll. We asked, oh wow, again, it's a close one. So we asked, is Hugo Ekitike good enough for Liverpool? Why are some people saying he's at the airport? That's an old picture, Dramil. If you're talking about somebody taking a selfie with him in a black blazer with a black t-shirt, that was from when we played them in November. So I don't know why people are trying to scam with that one. No idea, but I think that's what you're talking about. Love you, Craig, but you've gone over the top in the past week with your video thumbnails regarding Wirtz. It depends how you look at it, to be fair. I can say to you categorically that the interest in Wirtz is unlike anything else we've ever seen on the channel. So to not post about Wirtz would be a dereliction of duty, and I've only posted the things that we've been told. But again, I understand where you're coming from. Pixie Lock said, too much noise around the Wirtz signing. Let's all keep grounded and hope that he signs. Honestly, ego for the club aside, if he doesn't happen, it'd be a Bosman future, see Leverkusen off. It will happen, but if I'm him, I'm getting really frustrated now as well with how long it's taken. One Habanero said, never apologise. You're giving us info on deals that come from sources that can change at any minute. We come here for your friendly banter and you don't make the deals. I appreciate your understanding on it. Very much so. Yeah, I would say we get information, credible information on 30% of Liverpool deals, maybe. There are definitely people way more connected than us. But again, if we look at the broader picture of what I said a few weeks ago, I told you Kerkez, Frimpong and Wirtz will all be Liverpool players. They will. We mentioned about the media expecting a fourth unveiling. Like we mentioned here that we heard that the figure that will be agreed or has been agreed is a little bit higher than the initial £113 million that went in. That's come true. But again, I can't tell you on the delays on it, and that has pissed me off massively because I hate disappointing people. Except my wife, she's used to being disappointed in a particular area, don't you know? Right, let's keep going. Watching from Derry, much love, my friend, much love. Right, let's check in on the poll. So, it's close, but we've nearly got 2,300 votes on it. We'll let it get up to 2.5, and then we'll call it. But remember, the question is Hugo Ekitike good enough to come and play for Liverpool? Eli said the Rice deal took a month and all he had to do was cross London. So again, I don't defend FSG and Liverpool a lot on transfer stuff, but I can tell you it's not us causing it. It's not our side of this that's causing any issue. Our side of it are looking to get this over the line and done. So they're hearing what they want. They're getting to the point where they're putting what they want on the table. And then again, the goalposts are getting shifted. And it's the details of it that are becoming the sticking point. So, yeah, for all my criticisms of Michael Edwards, of FSG, of Hughes, this isn't on them. Off the Post said it's a bank holiday in Germany. That is true as well. It is a national holiday in Germany today. Could be why there's no announcement. My concern is FSG will want to recoup the money by leaving us short. So they won't necessarily want to recoup the money for Wirtz, but absolutely they will want to recoup money in this window to allow us to do the rest of what we need to do in this window. So it looks like over the last day or two, there's more and more stories talking about Harvey Elliott departing this summer. There's been stuff about Joe Gomez departing. There's been the stories with Luis Diaz and Darwin Nunez. Now, Liverpool are absolutely looking to sell Darwin Nunez, but like I mentioned a moment ago, I don't think they're actively looking to sell Luis Diaz. Then we've got the situation with Federico Chiesa and him wanting to move back to Italy, according to Romano the other day. So if you look at some of those in the Queeving Kelleher deal, you're talking about a significant amount of money that we'll bring back in. And we're not really selling the family silver, if you get me. So I think selling to fund some new stuff, I'm okay with it, personally. As long as we get the 5 positions that most of us feel we needed, which was a bit of creativity, which we're getting in Wirtz, full backs on both sides, which we are getting, a centre back, which I'm none the wiser of at this point, and a striker. If we sort out all of those positions, and if we lose another wide player, bring in another wide one, I'd be happy. Because there are players like Tyler Morton, not going to have a future at Liverpool, could be a handy 12 to 15 million there. Ben Doak, not probably going to have a future at Liverpool, probably a handy 25, 30 mil there. Harvey Elliott, 35 to 40 million. Kelleher was 18 million, including the add-ons. So those add up quickly to a significant amount of money, plus whatever you'd bring in for Darwin. Right, let's keep going. I'm trying to find one particular post. Sorry, I'm scrolling back through. Can't find it. Always the way. Anyone remember when Klopp won the European Cup and was gifted Ben Davies? Yeah, and Ozan Kabak on loan. And then some of those business deals that we did were ridiculous. Like the Arthur Mello loan. From second one, that was doomed to fail. They didn't want to send him out without an option to buy. Liverpool let them know there was no way they were going to take up the option to buy. And then we paid money in a loan deal for a player who unfortunately got injured and it cost Liverpool money. We've been silly when we've gone to loans. The loans that we've brought into the football club have been beyond ridiculous. The details could be how much the agent wants and gets. That's his father, I believe. So I don't think that's going to be the problem. Everything that's been written or that's been said it's about the way the add-ons are achieved. And not how much they are, but how they're achieved and how easy they are to trigger. Apologies if I mispronounced this, my friend, but Sir John Hardy said we need a new 9 more than anything. So, yeah, I kind of agree with you, bro. I would also say we need a centre-back, because I think we were lucky last season that we didn't pick up an injury to Ibu or Virgil. So, to me, I think centre-back is a priority. Even if Ibu signs a new deal, I would still argue we need to bring in another centre-back. But you're right. Last season, we almost played with no number 9. You know, whether it was Darwin not being up to form, Jota not being his usual self, or Diaz being put into a position that is not his natural position, it almost felt like we won the league without a centre forward. My personal favourite was Stephen Corker. The fact that was Jurgen's first signing as well. I know his first money signing was what's his face, the youngster from Red Star Belgrade, who scored the header. How have I not remember his name now? God, he was so irrelevant at our club in the end. I can't even remember his name. What's his name? Scored that header against Barcelona in the friendly from the edge of the 18-yard box. How can I not remember his name already? What the hell? It was the first signing, came from Red Star Belgrade, scored a header against Barcelona, always looked like he was a decent player. Marco Grujic, yes, that's the one, thank you. I always have one brain fart on every stream for something simple that I can't remember. I always thought he wasn't given a fair crack of the whip, by the way. I always had high hopes for Marco Grujic. Does anybody miss talking about Trent? No. Apparently his unveiling has been pushed back 24 hours as well to next Thursday. The more this drags on, the more I question Hughes. Signed only Chiesa and Frimpong on a clause. Took ages to get contract sorted. Is he the problem? No idea. Harissa Sports, no idea. But I would be a liar if I said to you that I hadn't thought to myself, we're grand on release clauses, but when it comes time to negotiate outside of a release clause, it certainly does seem like we take a while. But look, this is the biggest deal in our club's history, so I guess getting it right is important, but same time, it's still frustrating. Neil Thompson said, with us not signing a striker till the second window unless something happens with Nunez tomorrow, which is unrealistic, who would be left to buy? Top strikers could all go by tomorrow. Ekitike is still there. It feels like the club haven't given up on Isak, even though, I'd be absolutely amazed if he came. Gyökeres is now the target for Manchester United after they missed out on the League Lap, although where the hell they're getting that money from again, I don't know. I'm trying to think of what other ones. Lautaro may move, but I think he probably could go to Atleti if Darwin doesn't go there. João Pedro is still a name that's in the mix. And then there's Max Voltmada, whose name has been linked to Liverpool in the past few days. And again, I can't say which is the one because I have no idea. Right. The poll. We can get a result now. Right, we've had nearly 3,000 votes. So, again, I want to get us to 3,000 now because we're so close. We're at 2,930 votes. If you haven't voted, we're asking, is Hugo Ekitike good enough for Liverpool Football Club? Hammer said, hearing Leverkusen want Garnacho to replace Wirtz. Yeah, I did see that. Adam from FUTV messaged me earlier on, just talking about one of his thumbnails. And on that, it did say Garnacho to follow Ten Hag over to Leverkusen. So, yeah, it looks like they are looking at that deal now. I don't keep track of United transfers that much, so I don't really know how likely or how far along that may be. Right, so 53% of those that took part in the poll, and thank you to everyone that did, said that they do feel that Hugo Ekitike is good enough, and 47% obviously don't. Paro said, how achievable do you think Isak is for us, Craig? It seems like we don't want to give up and we want him in a red shirt. It definitely does feel that way. Now, my own opinion is that he's not achievable because Newcastle got Champions League football, but he still hasn't agreed a new deal there. And you're right, it does just feel like we haven't given up on it, but it's not like we're getting encouragement around it. So, yeah, you're right in what you say, but I don't know why or how they feel that he's still potentially there. Maybe they are just looking at the Newcastle contract situation and thinking, maybe he's. I don't know. I don't know what's giving them the encouragement, but I don't feel very encouraged to sign Isak. Where are we on with this one? Yeah, we've gone through that one. Cool. Neil said, I think he is 22, so much room to grow in our team. The sticking point is the price, unless the coffers come in from sales, but also if the club are willing to pay that amount for him. It does feel like the price is too high, but, if he's good enough, he's good enough. That's it. Ultimately, I said all along, I'll back whoever Arne Slot wants to bring in. But he is a name that isn't going away at this moment in time, Hugo Ekitike. Even with Chelsea trying to make a push to get him, he doesn't seem willing to commit to anybody yet. I don't know if Liverpool have him in their sights as number one target. Certainly plenty of journalists seem to think he is. As we mentioned just before we came on, was it this one? Yeah, it was Bill saying Liverpool remain a serious contender in the race for Hugo Ekitike. Both sides can imagine a move happening. Liverpool firstly focused on the Florian Wirtz deal. Do you know how long about the process of any footballer's medical, how long it takes place, etc.? So the medical part usually takes a day, and then the second day is usually media stuff. So the last I checked, Liverpool use both the Spire Hospital, which is a private hospital, I believe, in Liverpool, and of course Liverpool have a lot of facilities themselves at the AXA Training Centre. So I believe the medicals are conducted between those two, between the Spire Hospital and the AXA. How long it takes? A day, and then the next day is obviously results and then media duty. So 2 days usually is the process for that. This one, Mohamed Kudus, thoughts. Talented player. If the price is lower than the 85 million release clause, then, interesting. Certainly knows where the net is. But this is a genuine question, by the way, on him. Is he fast? Because I have it in my head, I want a fast winger, and I don't really know about Kudus' speed. I certainly know he knows where the net is, but is he fast? Because I want us to bring in a lightning winger. If we lose Chiesa or Diaz, I want us to bring in somebody with unbelievable pace at their feet, because I think that's something we're lacking in attack personally. Paro said, it's strange because there's got to be a reason as to why they think he's achievable. Gives me slight hope with us getting Wirtz, we could have a serious case to offer him the opportunity. There was one post I wanted to read out. Yes, this one from Andy Hunter of The Guardian. This excites me, but also intrigues me. So there will be several exits at Liverpool this summer to help fund a statement of intent in the transfer market. So again, it looks like the big business isn't going to be over after Wirtz if Liverpool are looking to make a statement of intent in the market, particularly with the money we'll bring in from sales. So it does look like Arne Slot's very firmly not bringing in make-way players, only players who are going to massively improve what we have at the club. So I'm excited by that, but also the impatient me wanted to hurry along so we know who these guys are. But if they live up to the hefty promises in this window that have been made, we could be set for a trophy-laden future. Dan Cini said, I think he's lazy tracking back. Kudus is lazy according to a lot of Hammers fans. If he's lazy, there ain't no way in hell Arne Slot is going to entertain it, because Arne Slot wants hard workers. And I watched, did anybody watch the thing on Sky Sports? Is it called Liverpool Champions or something like that? It's basically Liverpool's coach and some of the players sitting down and talking about pivotal moments of the season. It's on Sky Sports. If you have a chance, watch it. It's brilliant. But one thing that stood out to me in that was Mohamed Salah speaking about a conversation that he had with Arne that was based around Salah not setting the standard right in training. And the example that Arne gave him was during the warm-up, Salah was, I don't say half-assing the warm-up, but not putting as much intensity into it. And Arne stopped him and showed him the younger players around him and how they followed that example of a half-assed warm-up then, and said to Mo, this is why senior players like you and Virgil and that need to set that tone out there on the training pitch. Show that leadership. Do everything rigorously, professionally, 100 miles an hour to the best of your abilities. And they all seem to really like that side of Arne Slot. But it's a very interesting watch if you get a chance. I don't know what you mean by this. I don't know. That's gone over my head. DJ Ed. I don't know whose contract you're talking about. And what youth do you think makes a breakthrough this season? I'm going to say young Rio. I feel like we're going to see him on a few occasions and he's going to take our breath away. I'm not going to say he's going to establish himself in the first team week in, week out, but I do think he'll have a moment or two this year where we see the talent we've brought in there from Chelsea. Hey Craig, I think Pacquiao, exciting and fast. Excuse my ignorance here. Is he playing at Eindhoven or somebody? I don't really know much about him, to be honest with you. Blah, but I do want exciting fast winger. Diaz said, if Wirtz isn't done over the next 24 hours, then I think it doesn't happen. What are you thinking, Craig? No, it 100% is going to happen. Honestly, for all my frustrations and annoyance at how long it's taken, not one ounce of me thinks there's any chance this falls apart. Not a hope in hell. Everyone's gone too far now for it to fall apart. So he only wants us. It will happen, but that doesn't mean that you aren't right to be frustrated. Gary said, kind of felt like Wirtz has got cold feet. The deal's there. He isn't sure anymore. The deal's stalling because of Leverkusen and how annoying they're being over how the add-ons are. But there's no cold feet from Wirtz, mate. Not one chance. If you're looking to cast frustration for the length of time this deal's taken, very much aim it towards Leverkusen. But no chance the players got cold feet. He only wants Liverpool. He had the chance to go and take the easy deal. And also, if he was going to be talked out of it at any point, it would have been when he was with the German national team. I'm telling you, you've nothing to be concerned about with him. He only wants Liverpool. But again, Leverkusen and these triggering of the add-ons, I don't know what to say on that. It's just frustrating. Craig, I know I said Monday we'll get Wirtz signed up. Now I don't know. It will happen this week. It's just a matter of when. And even as somebody said earlier on, even if it goes past 7 p.m. tomorrow, which is the cut-off time for the 10th, it's only 6 days. So he can still jet off on holiday, do all the media stuff, sign the contract, and Liverpool can then just register the player when the offices reopen for the transfer window on the 16th. So no problem in that regard. Everything went too far to fall apart with Zubamendi and then it fell apart. No, it didn't though. It didn't go too far. They weren't sitting down hammering out contract negotiations with the selling club or how to trigger the release clause in his contract. And also, and this is really important as well, very different people negotiating the deals. But look, as I said, I understand people getting sketchy about it, but I'm telling you, of all the frustration, You've nothing to be concerned about in the deal falling apart. Nothing. But again, I totally understand why you're getting nervous or antsy about it, because of the PTSD we all have from past deals that fell apart. But again, different people involved in it. Michael Edwards wasn't around at that point. So, yeah. Well, actually, sorry, on the Zubamendi thing, it was the player getting cold feet, but he's renowned for having, I don't want to say being homesick, but he's renowned for being difficult. Arsenal tried before us, others tried before us, and it didn't happen. The Zubamendi thing was just nowhere near as far along, basically. Any news on the Kerkez deal? Yes, there is some bits and pieces on Kerkez. Again, not my information, but I'll pass it along. So the Guardian say Liverpool are close to striking a deal with Bournemouth to make Milos Kerkez our next summer recruit. They go on to say he departed the Hungarian national team camp for private reasons, while the Reds attempt to hash out a deal potentially reaching 45 million. That's the last I've heard on the situation with Kerkez. Certainly keep an eye on the likes of Ben Spocak and stuff like that, a Hungarian journalist, Liverpool fan, who would have very good information around Milos. Heck said Zubamendi was not like this. He clearly has a habit of it. Yes, even look at what's happening with Arsenal now. They already got the here we go from Romano for Zubamendi. So, yeah, this one's a little bit different. The player is very focused and won over by the proposition that was put to him technically from Arne Slot about how he'd be utilised in the system. So Mark said that super chat was referring to Liverpool under 21 player Welody Lucky, a centre back, 19 years of old, can play at right back. He's a Spanish international who used to play for England. Oh, nice. I'd never heard of him, in all honesty, Mark, but thank you for filling in the gaps for me there. Heck said if he rejects Arsenal at this point, it'll be so funny. It looks like there's a chance it might happen. You know, if you add together a few things, so Madrid Extra and a few of the other Madrid accounts the other night were posting things saying that somebody out there playing in the Nations League final is a secret target of Real Madrid, and they went on to say who it wasn't, but they didn't ever rule out Zubamendi. Then if you go and have a look at the story I mentioned to you earlier on about Angelo Stiller and Madrid no longer have an interest there, you would ask, why is that? And it feels like they're going to go for Zubamendi, but again, I'm not close to that deal. I haven't paid attention to it outside of these few posts I've seen, but it might happen to them. And it will be funny if he rejects them as well, because then we'll both sets of our fans will be like, fucking hell, do you know what I mean? Jack said, Craig, when we get these two, we're going to be deadly. I love that phrase, man. That's such an Irish phrase. I love it. Even though you're coming from the UK there, but we're going to be deadly. That's a very Irish phrase. I love it. Yeah, it's going to be incredible. Milos Kerkez has always been my number one target at left back as a fan. I just think he's tailor-made for what we want to do. Frimpong and Conor Bradley, I think, are going to give us really good options. Interesting to hear Ronald Koeman speak about Frimpong in saying that he uses him as a winger, or he's using him as a winger in the Dutch team. It'll be interesting to see how Arne utilises him. Is he going to be competing with Bradley at right back, or are we going to see him maybe a little bit further forward to give Mo a breather at times? But exciting is definitely how I feel about it. It's brilliant. I have big faith in Conor Bradley as well, but again, I can understand concerns about his injury because I have them myself. And I'm also really excited about that young goalkeeper. The more I've looked in, and I'm not going to sit here and say I knew he existed before we signed him, but when I've looked into him since we signed him, he looks legit. He looks like a really, really good, promising young goalkeeper. And with Alisson potentially moving on in 2 years' time, he could be the next one up to start fighting with Georgi Marmadashvili for the number one shirt. You're from Belfast, Jack. Sorry. But that makes sense. There you go. Well, I'll take that, Jack. You take that. It's a very Irish phrase. There you go. Deadly is defo something we say over here on this island, mate, isn't it? Bleeding deadly. Paro said, Craig, knowing Kerkez, Wirtz and Frimpong have signed, how many more players do you think we bring in? Well, it'd be a lie for me to say they've all signed. They haven't. They will sign, but one of them has only signed so far. I think two more. Two more without losing anybody. So, well, sorry. I explain this terribly every time I try to do it. So, right now, we've ticked off left back, right back, advanced midfielder, or number 10. So, the other two positions I think we need are a centre back and a centre forward. Now, the centre forward will be and should be a one in, one out. The centre back, my argument is, I don't want us to sell anybody before we bring somebody in because I think we need one with the bodies we have right now. If we lose a centre back, I think we need two. So that's where I'm at with it. So 5 for me, potentially 6. Right, let me just check something here. Here's a question for you. 1 second. Sorry, I'm just trying to type this out. Right, so who starts next season at right back, Frimpong or Bradley? I'm interested to know what you think will happen start of the season. When we kick off the first game of the season, who do we think is going to be Liverpool's right back for that one? Is it going to be Jeremy Frimpong or Conor Bradley? Or maybe you think it is neither of them. And if you think it's neither of them, let me know in the chat if you think maybe somebody like a Gomez or maybe even Kwanzaa might fill in at right back. Neil Thompson said Gravenberch saved us millions, and I think he's better than Zubamendi. Look, I'm very happy we have Ryan Gravenberch. I've no buyer's remorse at all over that, and I've no heartache about missing out on Zubamendi because of Ryan Gravenberch's season. But what I would say is I have absolute anxiety if that were to happen to him, that we don't have an adequate enough replacement to come in and battle with him. So I would still like to see us address the position, whether that's Stefan Bajcetic or bringing in somebody like Angelo Stiller. Alfie said, did you see Harvey Elliott's comments about wasting his career? Yeah, and I totally understand him. You know, it's a real predicament for him because he loves Liverpool. He's a Liverpool fan. He's living his dream at the club, but at the same time, he's right in what he says. Careers are short. They go fast, and you don't want to be wasting away years of a very short career with minimal minutes. Footballers want to play football, and I understand anybody who's frustrated with the lack of minutes they're getting. All the angst about the Wirtz signing is because it represents a real statement of intent from our club, and he's almost a generational talent. Definitely. Add into that, Martin, the heartache we've suffered in previous transfers, whether it's Caicedo, Zubamendi, Lavia, and I get it. I feel like we need the release. I feel like it's pent up and we need that release as fans. We're waiting, we're hovering, you know, we're waiting for the venue to open, we're there, we're ready, we want to party, but we can't party just yet. And you're right, it would be a huge statement, and it would be a confirmation of maybe a change of direction from our owners with regards to the way the transfer market is for us. It's a huge statement of intent and a statement that we mean business and want to win. And that makes me really excited as a Liverpool fan. I think Elliott would flourish in La Liga, said Copwolf. I'd love to see him at Dortmund. I'd love to see Harvey Elliott at Borussia Dortmund. I can imagine him in that shirt being loved by the Dortmund fans as well. Another shirt I've always been able to see him in is the Newcastle shirt, but I don't know if Newcastle and Eddie Howe still hold an interest in Harvey Elliott. Luke, Caulfield said, I have a feeling Frimpong could be on the wing, often enough with Salah getting older. He might want to play as a striker to try to keep up the goal scoring. I've long been a fan of the idea of giving Mo a shot through the centre, and I was surprised last season perhaps we didn't see it more. But that's the beauty of the Frimpong signing, isn't it? It's that it will give us an option at right wing. It will give us another option at right back. It's exciting. Let me just check it on this poll. Paddy's Brick said, don't think the deal's getting done. I don't even know saying it's 100% going to get done, Paddy. You've nothing to be concerned about it failing. I get the frustration. I'm the same, but you don't have to worry about it falling apart. It is absolutely going to happen. Craig, did you see the news that Darwin rejected Saudi? I did. Yeah, I did. I seen that earlier on. It was Nunez priority staying in Europe, according to Nico Shearer. And then there was another one, I think, as well. Rudy Galletti said Al Hilal's interest in Darwin isn't new, and went on to say they're making a reignited push for the striker, but there's definitely been reports that he wants to stay in Europe. I don't know, which is funny because he did have that little video where he was talking about that Saudi money. I think it was with Lucho in the video, if I remember correctly. Interesting. So again, we asked you guys who you think starts next season at right back. Already had 1,000 votes in the first 4 minutes on it, so we're going to finish up that one just before the stream ends tonight. So do let us know in the poll what you think. Who starts at right back, Frimpong or Bradley? Craig, do another whoop whoop if Harvey answers again. No, God, no. No, I don't need the Modra, the dog, making more noise in that kitchen. Neil said, Craig, name your starting 11 for next season with all our new players. Who would you start? It would very much depend on who we're playing, but I'll have a bash at it. So, Alisson, again, I think Bradley starts the season at right back for what it's worth. So I'm going to say Alisson, Bradley, Canade, Virgil, Kerkez, Gravenberch, McAllister. Then it comes down to, will Wirtz be a false nine or will he be an attacking midfielder? If he's an attacking midfielder, then I think it'll be Gravenberch, Maka, Wirtz, and then Salah on the right, whoever the new striker is to the middle, and Diaz still on the left. That's my guess at how we look at the opening day of the season. This day 38 years ago, Andy said Liverpool signed John Barnes. What a player he was. Edo said, what's the news on Wirtz? The news is there is no news, unfortunately, mate, at the minute. We're all still awaiting. Paro said, I feel Slot should start with Frimpong. He'll want to see how he fares whilst everybody is still getting back, if that makes sense. But again, Bradley is tested at this point as well. Either way, I'm happy with either one. Whether it's Bradley, whether it's Frimpong, I'm all good with it. It's still going to be fun to watch either. I'm really excited, though, to see the battle on the left between Robbo and Kerkez. And you're probably saying battle, Craig. And yeah, I do think we'll see a battle, because I think Andy Robertson's going to up his level next year. Because he's playing for his future as well at Liverpool. He's gone into the last year now of his deal. So he's going to want to make sure that he can convince Arna that he's worth keeping around. Which English players do you think would fit Slot's system if available for transfer? Anthony Gordon, Jared Branthwaite, Adam Wharton. That's probably about it that I'm thinking realistically as possibles. Aaron, appreciate you, Aaron, as always, said, I can see us letting Mamardashvili start in the FA Cup and Carabao Cup games. Same thing we did with Kelleher. That would be the astute answer, yes. because it would make sense, because you got to try and keep them both happy somehow, and giving him the cup competitions would be at least a common sense way to look at that. And of course, we need to see what he's like as well. We need to see how he gets on the Liverpool shirt. Bowen would be brilliant, but you know, it's not going to happen. And he's what now, 29 or something like that. Bowen 28, 29. Is Badger Tits classed as homegrown? No, I don't believe he is. We got him in, I think, just before the rule changed after Brexit. He was the last player we brought in from Europe after or before that rule changed, but I still don't think he's had enough time with Liverpool to fall into that category now. Would Gravenberch be available for the first 3 games as he got a red card at the end of this season? So I think it's going to be a 1-game ban. I don't know whether it's the Carabao or the Community Shield. Sorry. I don't know if it's the Community Shield he misses or not. But to the best of my understanding, he only is going to get a 1-game ban and not 3, because it wasn't violent conduct. It was 2 yellows. Or even if it wasn't 2 yellows, sorry, it was a red, but it wasn't a violent conduct red. So it'll be just 1. To the best of my understanding. Wirtz song, Floor, I, and to the tune of Voulez-Vous, Florian Wirtz. But how do you do the rest of it? And that's just like a Sadio Mane song we had in the past, because we had a Sadio Mane, hear the cop I'd sing, we're all going to Madrid, Sadio Mane. So yeah, that'd be a rehash of that one. Andy said he misses the first league game. He's free to play in the Community Shield as it's friendly, really. That makes sense, I guess. I knew it was only going to be the 1 game anyway, because it wasn't violent conduct. I would say Frimpong only because I want to see how he cooks players. Yeah, his speed is going to be fun to watch. Right, let's check in on our poll. There was something actually to say that Liverpool missed out on that Mastroianni guy from River Plate, and that potentially he could have been gotten. Again, I don't know if this is they trying to wind us up, but there was a post about it saying that Liverpool need to up their game in South America. Ooh. Nice. We still have, about 10 minutes to go. So if you want to vote, we asked who you think starts at right back next season, Bradley or Frimpong. It's looking quite one-sided, but we'll let it run a bit longer. I would say Frimpong, I've already done that one. Copwolf said, sure, Community Shield counts only if you're Mikel Arteta and you want to count it as a real trophy to make the Arsenal fans feel a little bit better about life. Honestly, I'll find it hilarious if they do miss out on Zubimendi, just because they tried to rinse us, saying, no, I wouldn't go to you lot, but was running here to sign for Arteta. So if they miss out on him as well, that's going to be fun banter. Do you think Bradley may feel a bit disappointed? Surely he was hoping he would be first choice. Well, all the noises at the end of last season said that the club are going to give him that option to be the first choice. And he signed a new contract as well. So, look, he would have known that the club are going to bring in another right back, because we were never going to go into the season with just him and no cover. The same way we wouldn't have gone in with just Trent and no cover. So I think he'll understand it. And it's up to him now to convince the manager that he's the guy at right back. Competition for me is only ever healthy and good in squad, so I welcome it. Danny said, hi Craig, on our honeymoon now, nice, the day was epic, and my mum surprised me with a Liverpool themed wedding cake, which tasted as good as it looked. Oh, that's awesome, Danny. I hope you guys have a wonderful honeymoon, my man, and congratulations on getting married. That's awesome. Where are you on your honeymoon, if you don't mind me asking? I'm always intrigued. That was my favourite part of our wedding, by the way, was the honeymoon, because it was the part of the wedding that I took care of, so I was delighted that I was left in charge of that. Any news on Samao Sabrosa? Not yet, Andy. No, not yet. He's still up there with who was the other one that was linked with us all the time? Isco, wasn't it? He was linked with Liverpool every 5 minutes as well. And who was the other guy as well? The guy that's at Aston Villa now. That was at PSG. Asensio. He was linked with us a long time as well. There's a video of Frimpong going head-to-head on YouTube against Liao that's very good. I'll certainly have a little look at that. Thank you. Possible Wirtz song to Lord of the Dance. Oh, God, we're getting into it now, aren't we? Wirtz said, wherever he may be, I'll be choosing the best club. I can't get into that tune, mate. That's just too much for me. And I can't see the cop belting out fucking Lord of the Dance. Dance then, wherever you may be, I am the Lord of the Dance, said he, and I lead you all, wherever you may be, and I lead you all, and the dance, said he. Yeah, I can't see that one be belted out in the cop. You're in a little hot tub cabin in Wainfleet for a few days. I have no idea where Wainfleet is. I guess it's in England, is it? I haven't got a clue, mate, where it is, but nice. Enjoy. Yeah, enjoy. Honeymoon's the best part. For me, anyway, it was. Because it was the relief of getting through the wedding day. And then you just have that time to kick back with your missus and enjoy. Konoplyanka as well. Yeah, that memories of being there on the Harley Davidson for the Konoplyanka deal. That was one I really wanted us to get done. Konoplyanka. God, it just shows you how far we've come. We were talking about those type of deals like Konoplyanka, and I remember even trying to convince myself when we signed the Lazar Markovic, the Roger Federer lookalike. The Roger Federer. He looks like Roger Federer crossed with what's his name? The movie director. What's his name? The movie director did Kill Bill and all. What's his name? He looks like Roger Federer crossed with him. Had a love child. What's his name again? No, not Wes Anderson. Quentin Tarantino. Yeah, that's the one. Quentin Tarantino. Yeah, he looks like Quentin Tarantino crossed with Roger Federer for me. Dave said, I didn't get a honeymoon. I went out in the piss the day after the wedding. Wife threw the ring back at me and didn't speak to me for the first week. Nice. We went straight to Miami and then went on a cruise on the Caribbean. So, yeah, I think mine was a tad better than your experience there one, Dave. Tim, don't worry about a recap, mate. I'm going to record a video in the next few minutes recapping some stories I haven't gone through yet in detail, much like the Angelo Stiller one. We're going to talk about that in the late night news roundup. We're going to speak a bit about Ekitike as well in the late night video. We're going to speak about Luis Diaz in the late night video. And of course, I'll give you the recap on everything else that we've gone through today. It's a tiny little village in Lincolnshire, sorry. Would definitely be kicking back with Prosecco. Nice. I actually prefer Prosecco to champagne for what it's worth. I do. Right, ladies and gents, let's end this poll. And if I could ask before we finish up, if you haven't hit that like button, please do. And thank you to everyone that's subscribed as well. Absolute legends. If you want to join the WhatsApp community, it is free to join. The link is in the description of this stream. And again, we're going to keep you up to date with all the transfer stories before we stream or make videos about them. They will be going into the WhatsApp group. So we asked who starts next season at right back, and 67% said it's going to be Frimpong that starts next season at right back. And I very much appreciate everyone that took part in the poll. So again, tomorrow, fingers crossed, we have something to celebrate. But again, I appreciate all of your patience, your understanding, and your support of our channel. We will be back here tomorrow, as always, 8:45 for the late night agenda. We'll have a news video at about 4:30, and then I'll be recording one in about 10 minutes as well to go out tonight. So much love, my friends. Our patience will be rewarded. But again, you're wonderful people. I appreciate all of your love and support, and I'll chat with you tomorrow. Take care.